OutDaughtered. Why Danielle and Adam Busby lawyered up and bid farewell. For years, viewers of OutDaughtered felt like they were growing up right alongside the Busby family. Week after week, audiences tuned in not just to see the rare miracle of all-girl quintuplets, but to witness the real, unscripted chaos, love, stress, laughter, and growth that came with raising 6 daughters under one roof. Danielle and Adam Busby weren't just reality TV stars, they felt like neighbors, friends, and family to millions of fans. That's why it came as such a surprise when whispers began circulating that the Busbys had lawyered up and quietly said goodbye to something that had been a major part of their lives for years. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Danielle and Adam continued posting on social media, sharing family updates, celebrating birthdays, and showing moments of everyday life. But longtime fans started noticing subtle changes. Certain details were missing. Familiar patterns had shifted. And slowly, it became clear that something behind the scenes had changed in a big way. The truth is, the decision for Danielle and Adam Busby to lawyer up and step away wasn't sudden, dramatic, or rooted in one single event. It was the result of years of pressure, evolving priorities, emotional exhaustion, and the reality of what it means to raise children in the public eye. When OutDaughtered first premiered, Danielle and Adam were navigating uncharted territory. No one had ever documented the long-term reality of raising quintuplets like this before. At the time, the show felt like a blessing. The cameras captured their struggles and triumphs, and the platform helped them financially support a family that suddenly grew overnight. Medical bills, specialized care, and daily expenses were overwhelming, and the show helped provide stability during a very uncertain chapter. But as the years passed, the Quints weren't babies anymore. They became little girls with personalities, emotions, opinions, and boundaries. And with that growth came new concerns that couldn't be ignored. Adam has been open about his struggles with mental health, anxiety, and depression. Being a provider, a father, a husband, and a public figure all at once took a toll on him. The pressure to constantly be on, to relive emotional moments on camera, and to share deeply personal family experiences with millions of strangers began to feel heavier with each passing season. Danielle, on the other hand, carried a different but equally intense burden. As a mother, her instinct has always been to protect her children at all costs. Over time, she began questioning what it truly meant to give their kids a normal childhood when cameras were present during vulnerable moments, meltdowns, medical appointments, discipline, and emotional breakdowns. What once felt manageable slowly began to feel invasive. As the Quints grew older, they became more aware of the cameras, the crew, and the fact that their lives were being watched and discussed online. Danielle and Adam started thinking beyond ratings and contracts. They started asking hard questions about consent, privacy, and long-term emotional impact. These weren't questions that could be brushed aside anymore. This is where the lawyers came in. Lawyering up didn't mean the Busbys were gearing up for a dramatic lawsuit or public feud. It meant they were finally putting boundaries in place. They wanted clarity. They wanted protection. And most importantly, they wanted control over their family's future. Reality television contracts are complex. They dictate filming schedules, content rights, editing authority, and long-term usage of footage. Danielle and Adam realized that as their children grew, the stakes were higher. They weren't just signing for themselves anymore, they were signing on behalf of 6 young girls whose digital footprints were already massive before they could fully understand what that meant. Legal guidance became essential. Behind closed doors, the Busbys began reassessing what they were willing to share and what they were no longer comfortable filming. Some moments, they felt, should remain private, especially those involving health scares, emotional struggles, or discipline. They wanted the freedom to say no without pressure. And saying no isn't always easy in reality television. There's an unspoken expectation to deliver content. Emotional moments often drive engagement, but those same moments can come at a cost. Danielle, in particular, began pushing back on what was filmed, how it was framed, and how much access the show had to their family life. At the same time, their lives were evolving outside of television. Adam expanded his work in digital media and entrepreneurship. Danielle launched and grew her own business ventures. The family built alternative income streams that no longer relied solely on the show. That financial independence changed everything. When you no longer need a platform to survive, you gain the power to choose peace over exposure. Fans also noticed that Danielle's health struggles became a turning point. Chronic pain, unexplained symptoms, and ongoing medical concerns added another layer of urgency. Stress was no longer just emotional, it was physical. Continuing at the same pace became unsustainable. The idea of stepping back didn't happen overnight. It was discussed, debated, and emotionally weighed. The Busbys knew what OutDaughtered meant to fans. They understood the loyalty, the connection, and the support viewers had shown for years. Saying goodbye felt bittersweet. But sometimes, protecting your family means disappointing others, and that's a hard truth to accept. Lawyering up allowed Danielle and Adam to negotiate terms on their own terms. It allowed them to explore what stepping away would look like without chaos or conflict. It also gave them the confidence to make decisions rooted in long-term well-being rather than short-term expectations. Their farewell wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. And it wasn't fueled by anger. It was intentional. As they began to share more curated glimpses of their lives through social media rather than full-scale production, fans noticed a shift in tone. The content felt calmer, more controlled, more authentic in a different way. The Busbys were reclaiming their narrative. They weren't disappearing, they were redefining. For Danielle, the relief was noticeable. Being able to protect her daughter's privacy while still sharing moments she chose felt empowering. For Adam, the shift offered breathing room, a chance to focus on mental health, fatherhood, and personal growth without the constant pressure of public scrutiny. The decision also sparked mixed reactions from fans. Some fully supported the move, praising the Busbys for prioritizing their children. Others felt disappointed, feeling like they had lost a connection they'd cherished for years. But Danielle and Adam understood that not everyone would agree, and they were finally okay with that. Raising children in the spotlight is something no parenting book prepares you for. The Busbys learned through experience, trial, and emotional reflection. They learned that boundaries aren't selfish, they're necessary. And sometimes, the bravest choice isn't staying visible, it's stepping back. Their farewell wasn't about walking away from gratitude. It was about choosing growth over comfort, privacy over performance, and family over fame. Lawyered up or not, the heart of their decision remained the same. Doing what felt right for their family, even when it was difficult. In the end, OutDaughtered will always be a part of their story, but it no longer defines it. Danielle and Adam Busby didn't say goodbye because they failed. They said goodbye because they evolved. And sometimes, that's the most powerful ending of all. Even after stepping away from the cameras, Danielle and Adam Busby remained under public scrutiny. Fans wanted answers. Critics wanted drama. Social media thrived on speculation. Yet, the Busbys navigated this phase with a quiet determination that reflected their priorities. Family first, fame second. They began by re-establishing routines that had been nearly impossible during filming. Early mornings, school drop-offs, mealtimes without crew interference, bedtime stories, the ordinary things many parents take for granted. These moments became sacred. The girls could play outside without lights and cameras. They could argue, make mistakes, and learn without judgment. They could simply be children. For Danielle, reclaiming normalcy was also about health. The mysterious illness that had plagued her for years didn't disappear, but having fewer obligations allowed her to focus on proper care, doctors, and rest. Mental health became a priority as well, something both Danielle and Adam had postponed for the sake of production schedules. Therapy sessions, personal reflection, and even family counseling became part of their lives. Stepping away from reality television didn't mean leaving opportunities behind entirely. The Busbys shifted toward controlled projects where they had autonomy. Social media provided a platform for updates, brand partnerships, and fan interaction on their terms. They could promote causes they believed in, highlight family milestones, and share insights into parenting quintuplets, all without sacrificing privacy. This balance allowed them to remain public figures while maintaining personal boundaries. One of the most significant impacts of stepping back was on the girls themselves. The quintuplets were growing quickly. Without cameras documenting every moment, they were able to explore their identities more freely. Personal interests, hobbies, and friendships developed away from a public lens. The family made it a point to let the girls dictate what, if anything, they wanted to share publicly in the future. Danielle and Adam knew that one day, their children might face decisions about fame themselves. They wanted them to have autonomy over those choices. Financially, the decision to leave the show was not reckless. The Busbys had built stability through years of reality TV and smart financial planning. Trust funds, savings, and investments meant they could prioritize quality of life over public exposure. Lawyering up wasn't just about negotiating contracts. It was about ensuring the family's long-term security and protecting assets accumulated over years of hard work. The media narrative around their departure was mixed. Some outlets framed it as a meltdown or freakout, but those close to the family knew the truth. It was a deliberate, thoughtful decision. Every move was calculated to safeguard family wellness, personal privacy, and future opportunities. Danielle herself later commented that stepping away felt like taking back our lives, a sentiment echoed by Adam, who emphasized that being a parent sometimes requires saying no, even when the world expects yes. The Busbys also used this period to strengthen community connections. They focused on causes important to them, from children's charities to health awareness campaigns. Their platform, though smaller without the reality show, remained impactful. Fans who had followed them for years saw glimpses of these endeavors online, understanding that influence didn't require constant broadcasting. Interestingly, stepping away also shifted the family dynamic. Without cameras, Danielle and Adam had more freedom to parent intuitively. Decisions about discipline, education, and family routines were made privately, without the influence of production notes or storylines. The parents became more relaxed and confident, understanding that mistakes would no longer be amplified to millions of viewers. Social media interactions evolved as well. Danielle and Adam shared glimpses of life that were curated but authentic. Milestones like school plays, sports achievements, and family vacations could be celebrated without turning everyday life into entertainment. The approach struck a balance between fan engagement and healthy boundaries, allowing the Busbys to maintain relevance while prioritizing privacy. Critically, the girls benefited from this protective environment. Peer relationships were less complicated. Social development was grounded in reality rather than performance. The quintuplets could navigate challenges like school, friendships, and personal growth without worrying about audience perception. Danielle often reflected on how vital this was. Raising children in the public eye carries unique pressures, and she wanted her daughters to experience childhood as naturally as possible. Emotionally, the family grew closer. Shared meals, game nights, and family projects took precedence over production schedules. Even small traditions like reading together before bed or weekend baking became anchors for normalcy. Adam and Danielle often expressed that these were the moments they had longed for during the hectic years of filming. The decision to leave OutDaughtered also inspired other reality TV families. The Busbys became an example of prioritizing mental health, family stability, and autonomy over public expectations. Discussions around child privacy, consent, and parental control in reality programming gained attention, partly due to their choices. Their actions sparked conversations about how fame affects family life and the ethical considerations producers must take when working with children. Despite no longer filming, the Busbys' legacy in reality TV remains intact. OutDaughtered introduced audiences to the beauty and chaos of a large family, the challenges of raising multiple children simultaneously, and the deep bond of marriage under extraordinary circumstances. Danielle and Adam are often praised for maintaining authenticity and humility, even while navigating fame. Over time, stepping away allowed the Busbys to explore personal growth. Danielle focused on wellness, advocacy, and family projects. Adam invested in business opportunities and strengthened his role as a father and husband. Their relationship, tested by years of public scrutiny, emerged resilient. Boundaries they set with lawyers and the network ensured that they could nurture both their marriage and their family without interference. In retrospect, the choice to lawyer up and bid farewell to OutDaughtered was not abrupt or reactive. It was strategic, protective, and forward-thinking. Danielle and Adam understood that fame, while rewarding, comes with risks, especially for children. By asserting legal and personal boundaries, they preserved the family unit and ensured that their daughters could grow up grounded, safe, and loved without compromise. The Busby story demonstrates that saying no is sometimes the bravest decision of all. Walking away from cameras, public attention, and external pressures wasn't about ending an era. It was about creating a healthier, happier life. For them, the decision reaffirmed core values: family, love, health, and privacy. Even today, fans continue to celebrate the Busbys. The lessons from their journey resonate far beyond television. Their courage to step back, prioritize family, and reclaim control offers a blueprint for other families in the public eye and serves as a reminder that true success isn't measured by viewership or ratings, but by peace of mind, stability, and joy at home. And so, while OutDaughtered may no longer document every tantrum, milestone, and milestone cake, the Busbys' legacy endures. The love, dedication, and careful protection they showed toward their children continue to inspire audiences, reminding everyone that some of life's most meaningful stories happen quietly, away from the cameras. Lawyering up and saying goodbye wasn't the end of the Busby story. It was the start of a chapter defined not by public expectations but by personal choice, family wellness, and the freedom to grow together. Their decision wasn't just about television contracts. It was about family contracts unwritten, but infinitely more important. The kind of promises parents make every day: to protect, to nurture, and to love unconditionally. And in that, Danielle and Adam Busby set an example far bigger than any reality TV spotlight could ever shine.